Hello students, good morning to all of you. In class 12 physics, our today's topic is refraction through prism. Just first we will discuss about what is a prism. So, a prism is a transparent material which have five faces. Three faces are rectangular and two are triangular, like this. Okay, so this you have a rectangular face, this is also rectangular face, and at the base we have rectangular face like this. So this is called a prism in which the either side two triangular faces are there. Okay, now on prism we have two refracting surfaces, which is first one and second one. Okay, now when the light is falling or incident on one refracting surface, then it suffers refraction at first refracting surface, and then after it moves towards the second refracting surface, and it will again suffer refraction from denser to rarer medium and move in up and emerge out from the prism. Just we understood about. Okay, this we have prism A, B and C. Okay, and where the two refracting surface meets together is called angle of prism. So angle A is angle of prism, and this line of joining is called apex. So we also say this is angle of prism or apex. Angle of prism. Okay, now this is first refracting surface, and this is second surface. As you find, there is angle between the two refracting surface, and in earlier classes you will discuss, or we have discussed, that a glass slab which has two refracting surfaces parallel to each other, it displaces the light after suffering refraction at 2 points by a parallel distance. But because in the prism the two refracting surfaces incline to each other, if we also incline it by an angle, suppose we don't have this parallel surface, so this is normal and light is moving here, then you will observe the light is bent toward the base. Okay, so this is the speciality of a prism, to bend the emergent ray after traveling from denser to rarer medium to the or towards the base. This is speciality, and this is because of angle between the two refracting surfaces. As you will discuss in the 10th class, by using two inverted lateral prism, you will get the recombination of white light. Okay, this is the same. Now, let an incident ray which is traveling from A to B, and if this is normal, then actual path of light is this, but it bends towards normal because it is moving from rarer to denser medium and moving in the direction of C. Okay, and then after it need to pass in this direction, but this is the second normal with the second refracting surface, and it will not move because it suffer again reflection at point C and move away from the normal in the direction of D. So this ray is called incident ray. Incident ray. This ray is called emergent ray. Okay, now we will understand some points. When we increase the normal inside the prism, we get a point of intersection of two normal. Let's say it is O. Okay, and when we increase emergent ray CD in backward direction, then we find that the emergent ray cuts at a point D, and this is the actual path of the incident ray, but due to this prism, this will be deviate or bend such a way, or this bending is called deviation of light because of prism, or reflection take place prism. So this angle is called angle of deviation. Angle of deviation. Okay. In this lecture, we will understand how the angle of deviation for a prism is calculated and what is the value of minimum angle of deviation. Okay. Now, as you know, the angle formed between normal and incident ray is I. Let's say it is I1 because the reflection takes place through the prism at two places, and the angle between the refracted ray and the normal is R. Clear? Next, the ray is emerged out, so this is the refraction angle, or it is called T2, or we say angle of emergent, and this angle is incident ray with normal is R2. We are using here R2 because in the same way. Okay, so this E also termed as I2 if the ray is passing from here, so angle of incidence with normal is I2 and reflection is R2. It is clear to all? Now, understood from the figure. From figure, we have 2 or 3 methods. I will do here only the easiest method. Now, we have here, this is normal, clear? So this angle is 90. It is clear to all? Therefore, this 90, if we subtract R1 from 90, then this angle what we get, that I will form it here. This is the normal at this point. Just understood. If this is 90, so this is also 90, and this is angle R1. So how much is this value? So answer is 90 minus R. Okay, similarly, this is normal at C, clear, and this is R2. Now how much is this value? So answer is 90 minus R. Clear? Now by using first triangle ABC, from figure in triangle ABC, angle sum property of triangle. Angle A plus 90 minus R1, 90 minus R1 plus 90 minus R2 is equal to 180. It is clear or not? Now from here, a minus r1 plus r2 is plus 180 equal to 180. Now this is cancelled. From here you will get a relation for angle of prism. A is equal to r1 plus r2. It is first relation for the deviation. Let's see equation first. Okay, now in triangle OBC, okay, in triangle OBC we have, again using the angle sum property of triangle O, angle R and sum of angle R2. Okay, so O plus R1 plus R2 equal to 180. Okay, and this we have A, so you can use either, okay, O plus A is equal to 180, and from here you also calculate angle A is equal to 180 minus O. Okay, clear? Now in triangle DBC, I am pausing for you. Okay, now this angle is I2, this angle is I1, okay, this angle is R1 and this angle is R2. Clear? So this total angle is how much? So answer is vertical opposite angle is I. So you will calculate this angle, which is equal to I1 minus R1. Clear? Similarly, these are two straight lines intersecting at C. Therefore, this total angle is I2 and this angle is I2 minus R2. It is clear? And this is point D where an angle del is formed. Okay, which is angle of deviation. Now, by using the exterior angle property for triangle DBC, okay, in triangle DBC, by exterior angle property, of triangle, what we have, that sum of interior angles, or we say exterior angle is equal to sum of interior angles, okay, which is del is equal to I1 minus R1 plus I2 minus R2. Clear? I2 minus R2. Okay. Now equate incidence angle together, or angle of reflection together. So you will get from here I1 plus I2 minus R1 plus I2. Clear or not? Now in equation A, we have R1 plus R2 is equal to A. By using this relation here, we get del for angle of deviation I1 plus I2 minus A. This is the third and important relation. Okay, now according to Snell's law, what we get? Snell's law is there is reflection take place from rarer to denser and then after denser to rarer. Okay, so we are using incidence angle sin I upon sin R is equal to mu. Refractive index of second medium to first, second medium to first. Okay, now here we are also using if, or we say for thin prism, if the prism is too small or thin, therefore sin I equal to or nearly equal to angle I and sin R nearly similar to only R. Clear? Therefore, by this relation, we get I1 equal to mu R1 and I2 equal to mu R2. We can write or not. Okay? So, by using these values in equation third, from equation third, del is equal to I1 we have mu R1 plus I2 we have mu R2 minus A. Clear? Now take mu as common. Sakshi. Take mu as common, you will get R1 plus R2 minus A. Clear? Now we have the value of this in equation. First is A, so mu A minus A is equal to del. Now take A as common. You will get mu minus 1. This is the code relation for the refraction through prism of a light incident point. This is the relation for deviation by a thin prism. Right? This is relation for or this is required relation for refraction through prism or deviation through prism. Done? Now condition for minimum deviation. Important point, and it will be asked in the board exams in 2 parts. Condition for minimum deviation. Condition for minimum deviation. Okay? What is it? Okay. For minimum deviation, we are using for small prism. Small prism. Sin I equal to I, or we say for small prism I1 equal to I2 equal to I and R1 equal to R2 equal to R. Okay, now from equation first and equation third. From first and third, what we get? A is equal to R plus R is 2R. That is A equal to R plus R is equal to 2R. Then you will get from here, and from earth del plus A equal to I plus I equal to 2 angle I. Okay, therefore angle I is equal to del plus A by 2. This is the value of angle of incidence. Okay, now according to Snell's law, according to Snell's law, sin I upon sin I. Okay, we have the values of sin I and sin I, which is sin del plus A by 2 and upon sin value of R is A by 2. Okay, therefore condition for minimum deviation is sin del plus A by 2 upon sin A by 2. This is the required condition for minimum deviation. Okay, now when we draw the graph for del angle A, or by using the different value of R and I, or different value of incidence angle, we will get the different value of deviation. Okay, done. So when we draw the graph for different value of incidence, we will get the different value of minimum deviation. For an example, let for different value of angle of incidence, we will get different values of angle of deviation also. Let these are for incidence angle 30 degree, it should be 48. For 35 degree, it be 43. For 40 degree, it is about 38. For 45 degree, it is 40, and for 50 degree, it is 43, and 55 degree, it is 46, and so. Okay, as you seen that by increasing the value, initially the value of deviation will decrease. Okay, in practice or in the practicals. Okay, and after a value decrease, the value of deviation is increased as further increase in the incidence angles. Okay, then we get a graph for starting from 30. Okay, that this is 30, 40, 45, 50, 55 and 30, 35, 45, 50, 1 minute. This is 35, 40, 45, 50 and 55, and this is the last value is 55. Okay, now for 30-degree incidence angle, the deviation is, this is angle of deviation and this is incidence angle. Okay, so if we get at 30 degrees, this is about 48. For 35 it is 43. For 40 it is 38. And then for 45 is 40. Fifty is 43. And for 55 is 46. Okay, when we join all these points, we get a curve like this. Okay, when we draw a tangent on this curve which incline on the vertical axis or at where we calculate the value of minimum deviation. So this value is 30 degree and this is we call minimum deviation or minimum angle of deviation. This we get by using that formula. Okay, note it. Rest part related to the reflection through prism is deleted for this year. Okay, so next we have the optical instrument in which we first discuss simple microscope. Okay, and then in the next class we will discuss about the compound microscope. Okay. Okay, students, next we will discuss about the simple microscope, which is usually a magnifying glass made up of biconvex lens. Okay. Simply made up by biconvex lens. Why this lens is used? Because when the object is placed in between the optical center and the focus, it will form a erected and large. Okay. Because of this, a convex lens is used to magnify the things which is placed in front of it. This is the point of optical center of this magnifying glass, having focus F, and this is CF. As you know, a lens have two principal focus. So if this is F1, so this is F2, and this is location of second center of curve. Okay, as I told you that this is used for the magnifying glass because when an object is placed in between the focal length and the lens or optical center, it forms its erected and magnified image. Okay, so let an object AB is placed AB is placed in between the optical center and focus point. Now, a line which is traveling parallel to the principal axis after reflection from the lens is passing through the focus, and the another ray which is traveling from optical center is not deviate after reflection. Okay, now a person in whose eyes the two refracted ray from this lens or magnifying glass is entering, okay, is observed or perceived from where the two rays are coming. So, it is observed that the two rays are coming from this point. So, we can say that this is the image A dash B dash of that object. Okay, now here this is the angle formed by the object on the eyes. Clear? Or one thing, that when the light is drawn in backward direction to incident on the image, then we can shift the object at A double dash B dash. It is clear? So, if we join this A double dash with the optical center, then this is the angle formed by the object on eye. Let's say this is angle of alpha. Clear? And this is the angle formed by the image on the eye. Let's say it is beta. Clear? Therefore, the magnifying power of a magnifying glass is defined in the ratio the angle formed by the image on eye to the angle formed by object on eye. That is, magnifying power is defined as capital M, which is just like definition of magnifying power. Magnifying power of a microscope. Magnifying power of a microscope is defined as the ratio of angle formed by image, angle formed by image on eye, which is beta, to angle formed by object on eye, that is alpha. Okay, therefore M is equal to beta upon alpha. This is your equation. Okay, now if the object distance from the glass, magnifying glass or lens is u, and the image formed at a distance v, which is as equal to the clear distinct vision small d. Okay, now we can calculate length of object with their distance by using alpha and beta. So we can calculate that alpha is equal to tan alpha. It is clear, which is by using this value A double dash B dash upon B dash O. Clear? B dash O. This is minus B upon this is 1 minute. Just do till this point, and beta we can calculate tan beta, which is angle formed by the image on the eye, AB upon BO. Clear? But here we can also write AB upon B dash O, because length of object and length of image are equal. That is, AB is equal to A double dash B dash. Okay. Therefore, from equation first, magnifying power is beta upon alpha, and we have the value of beta is AB upon BO, AB upon BO, which is value of alpha is AB upon B dash O, AB upon B dash O. Okay. Now AB cancel with numerator and denominator, so we get the magnifying power is equal to OB dash upon OB. Okay, which are the distances of image and object. OB is distance of image, OB dash is distance of image, and OB is distance of object. Therefore, we get from here minus V upon minus U. Clear? Now, magnifying power of magnifying glass or microscope is V upon U. This is equation second. Okay. Now, by Lenz's formula, we have 1 upon F is equal to 1 upon V minus 1 upon U. Okay. Now, because in the magnifying glass we have 1 upon V, so take V as common, or either multiply V in the equation. By multiplying V, we get V upon F equal to 1 minus V upon U. Clear? Here we are using by multiplying V. Okay. Now this value is equal to M. So this value is equal to M. So V upon F is equal to 1 minus M. Calculate from here M. M will become 1 minus V upon F, where I explained you that this is the least distance of PL vision, which is in front of the object. Here we use V is equal to minus D, or in case of small d we can also use capital D. By using this value here we get the result for magnifying power 1 plus D upon F. This is the magnifying power of a magnifying glass. Okay. Thank you.